Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Neepa Velimutham. I'm consultant ENT and head neck surgeon at SL Raheja Hospital, Mumbai. Today, I would like to discuss a topic which is very common, that is sinusitis, types and their treatment. Now, what is sinusitis? Sinusitis is defined as a condition in which there is inflammation of the mucosal lining of the sinus, leading to blockage of the sinus and accumulation of secretions, mucus, fungal debris, and formation of polyps. In my day-to-day practice as an ENT surgeon, I see a lot of patients suffering from different types of sinusitis. Now, what are the types of sinusitis? Sinusitis can be classified as allergic, which can be seasonal or perennial. It can be infectious, which is the more common type of sinusitis that we see. Infection can also be of two types, bacterial sinusitis or fungal sinusitis. There are other rare types of sinusitis such as drug-induced or occupational sinusitis, which is due to exposure to certain substance. Sinusitis can also be classified as acute or chronic. Acute sinusitis is one in which the symptoms are present for just for few days, whereas chronic sinusitis is one in which the symptoms are persistent for more than 4 weeks, that is almost a month. Now, how does sinusitis happen? We all suffer from common cold once in a while, right? But does that mean that we suffer from sinusitis every time? No. As per world literature, 0.5 to 2% of viral cold, that is common cold, can get secondarily bacterial infected, leading to sinusitis. The symptoms of sinusitis can be nasal blockage, nasal discharge, facial pain, headache, postnasal drip, ear pain, dental pain, even hyposmia. So what is the treatment of sinusitis? Treatment can be medical or surgical. If you're suffering from acute sinusitis, the treatment is generally only medical. We give antibiotics, painkillers, anti-inflammatory, antihistamines, and steam inhalation. Role of surgery comes into play in chronic sinusitis, recurrent sinusitis, and fungal sinusitis. Chronic sinusitis, as I said before, it is one in which the symptoms are persistent for more than 4 weeks. Recurrent sinusitis is one in which the patient has episodes of more than 4 times in a year. The surgery that we do in sinusitis is called FES, that is functional endoscopic sinus surgery. In this surgery, there is a tiny endoscope which we insert into the nasal cavity, which is attached to a camera and a light source, which gives us a magnified image of the sinus cavity. The aim of this surgery is to widen all the sinus openings, remove the blockage, remove the polyps, the mucus, the fungal debris from within the sinus cavity. This helps to widen the drainage pathways so that the next time the patient suffers from a common cold, the secretions do not get accumulated within the sinuses, eliminating the possibility of suffering from sinusitis again. There is another technique called balloon sinuplasty. This is a minimal invasive technique which works on the same principle as angioplasty. In this procedure, we introduce a catheter into the sinus cavity. The balloon is placed at the sinus opening and it's inflated, leading to widening of the sinus cavity. The advantage of balloon sinuplasty is that there is minimal blood loss and very minimal post-op pain. Hence, this be used as a daycare procedure. Now, another topic which I would like to discuss today and make people aware is of something called fungal sinusitis. The important aspect of fungal sinusitis is that the treatment of fungal sinusitis is completely different from bacterial sinusitis. Fungal sinusitis is diagnosed on basis of a CT scan. It can also be of different types, such as the allergic fungal sinusitis, presence of a fungal ball, or acute fulminant invasive fungal sinusitis. Now, what happens in allergic fungal sinusitis? There is presence of fungus within the sinus cavity, which leads to a hypersensitivity reaction and the mucous membrane gets inflamed. This leads to increased secretions and the patients have recurrent episodes of nasal discharge, sneezing, pain and discomfort. The treatment of allergic fungal sinusitis is surgery. We need to widen all the sinus openings. We need to remove the secretions as well as the fungal debris from within the sinus cavity. As long as there is fungus within the sinus cavity, the patient will never be completely cured of the disease. Hence, it's very important to remove the fungal elements and give a thorough wash to the sinus cavity. The dangerous one, which is called acute fulminant invasive fungal sinusitis, is seen in immunocompromised patients. That is, patients with low immunity, such as uncontrolled diabetic patients, chronic kidney disease patients, severe systemic illness. In this condition, due to low immunity, fungus such as mucor or aspergillus is very aggressive in nature and tends to spread rapidly like cancer. It eats away the surrounding structures and can spread into the eye or the brain and can be life-threatening. The treatment of this is intravenous antifungal therapy and radical debridement, that is surgical evacuation of the affected tissue. This needs a team effort of the ENT specialist, intensivist, physician and a nephrologist and needs an ICU setup. SL Raheja Hospital is a tertiary care institute with a state-of-the-art operation theatre and a very well-equipped infrastructure. So I would advise any patient who is suffering from chronic or recurrent sinusitis, kindly visit Raheja Hospital for detailed evaluation and treatment. Now I would like to answer some queries. We are having some questions. Okay, so the first question is, how many days do I have to stay in hospital for surgery? So now everything is of minimally invasive surgery and very newer technology. So the days recommended for the surgery is just 1 or 2 days. What I do is I ask my patients to get admitted at 7 in the morning, be fasting. We operate in the morning and discharge the patient the next day itself. So just 24 hours stay is enough. If you choose a procedure of balloon sinuplasty, we do it even as a daycare procedure. So the next question is, what kind of anesthesia is given for sinus surgery? We usually give general anesthesia to our patients. In this, the patient would be comfortable and would not have any discomfort while we operate. Since you can imagine we are operating in the nose and the facial area, it can be discomforting. However, if patient is immunocompromised and we are doing it for an invasive fungal sinusitis, we can do it under local anesthesia. Even balloon sinuplasty we can do under local anesthesia if the patient is cooperative. The next question is, do polyps recur? Yes, so this is a question which I frequently hear in my OPD. A lot of patients do have this question. A lot of my patients are well read. Yes, polyps do have a chance of recurrence. There is recurrence rate of almost 15 to 30% of polyposis happening again in a period of 7 to 8 years. And this recurrence rate is higher in patients who are suffering from allergic rhinitis and asthma. However, if you take proper post-op care and you follow the doctor's instructions, you can reduce the risk of recurrence. We give a lot of nasal sprays, we give a lot of teaching material and education material to our patients post-op to know how to take care of your sinuses, how to take care of your nose, and what to avoid. And this can lead to reduced recurrence. But yes, if a patient comes to me with polyps, I would tell him, I would advise him, I would let him know that there is such high rate of recurrence of polyps. However, if it happens, it will happen after a period of 8 to 10 years. But that doesn't mean that you should not get treated for this time of polyposis, which is causing you a lot of problems. So question is, how is fungal sinusitis diagnosed? So fungal sinusitis can be diagnosed on base of CT scan. We ENT surgeons, we look at the CT scan and there are some particular findings on the scan which suggest that this could be a fungal sinusitis. And when we do a drainage, we send this for culture and smear, which confirms our diagnosis. So the next question is, what care should be taken after surgery? Yes, this is a very important thing. After any nasal surgery, a lot of care has to be taken up for the nose and the sinuses. We call patients for nasal cleaning after the surgery to remove the crust and the blood clots from the sinuses. We give some post-op saline washes and we prescribe some saline sprays to humidify the nose and to prevent crusting. Important aspect is you have to avoid exposure to dust for at least 3 weeks after the surgery. And we also advise our patients not to fly for 3 weeks. There is a question, will there be any cut or scar on face in sinus surgery? So since this is an endoscopic surgery, there is no cut or scar on the face. We introduce the endoscope inside the nose and the sinuses, so there is no cut, there is no scar, and the patient can resume his office duties as soon as even the next day of the surgery. So question is, what care is needed and do we have to visit again after surgery? Yes, as for any surgery, there will be follow-up visits required, especially for nasal cleaning. So I call my patients on day 5 post-op, then after a week, and then after 2 weeks. The first 2 visits are mainly for nasal cleaning and removing the blood clots and the crust. And the third visit is for a diagnostic endoscopy in my OPD to see how the healing is and to see if there is any formation of any new findings inside the sinus cavity. So question is the surgery safe? So as is involved with any surgery, there are always risk of anesthesia, there is risk of, I will not say it's completely 100% safe, but yes, the risk and complications associated with sinus surgery is very minimal. There are risks of getting the surrounding structures injured. There might be risk of injury to the orbital wall. But however, with recent advances and newer technology, we have eliminated the risk of this complication to almost 0.01%. So are there any more questions? I hope this was an informative session for everyone. Okay, thank you everyone for watching.